Haley. Worksheet 7. I have them all open here. 7B, which number? 15 or 17? Number 15, part B. C. Assuming the rocket will splash down, and what time does it splash down? Okay. Do you have any idea what you used for a window? Yeah. Anybody write down what they used for a window on this one to get us there a little faster? Oh, I just used the wrong button. Because I'm old and blind. This is worksheet 7B. I think I have it typed in right now. Okay, time can't be negative. And I kind of remember that this one took a while. I'm going to put like 100 here. And I kind of remember that it went up high. No? Anyone? Okay. So this is 7B number 15. Okay, so here's my graph, but more importantly, here's the window that I used to get the graph. Okay, how do we figure out what time it splashes down? Did the vocab, it just means what time it hits the ground or hits?
You find where x equals 0 on the...
Yes, so we want the 0 is what it's asking. So it's second trace 0. I don't really want to scroll around there. I'm going to say it's between 0 and 80 somewhere, anywhere, because there's only one of 47.7. I think it says like 3 decimal places on the quiz. So if we did that, it'd be 47.735. I don't care if you did less places on here. 47.7 is fine. And that's seconds. It's set up here in seconds, okay? Better? I think it was like, what does that even mean? Maybe, yeah. Somebody else? Yes. 9B. Number 10 is this one, okay. So I'm going to go kind of quick because it's not on the quiz, I don't think, one like this. But when we did this, we talked about area and perimeter. The area of a figure like this, I need a cursor here, guys, would be like x times y if y was this whole thing, right? The perimeter, well, we'd have to build 3 little fences x long, and then we'd have 2 pieces that were y long. Does that seem okay? Now, he has 500 feet of fence to work with, so this perimeter can't be more than 500. And we're supposed to maximize the area. It's a little different, I think, than the one that was on the notes, but we need one variable in area. We eventually need both dimensions. So do you want to solve for x or for y? If we get the, if we get the x by itself, we're going to have to divide by 3. It's a little ickier. If we get the y by itself and substitute in here, we'd only have to divide by 2. Did you try it with x, though? Okay. I'm just thinking if we do 500 minus 3x and then divide by 2, and then put this in up here for the y, we'd have x times, if we divide those both by 2, we'd have 250 minus 1.5x. And then you would just need to find the max in the window, on the graph, you know. And then you would need the x value from the max. And then how are you going to find y once you have that, guys? Don't use the y value from the maximum. You got to put it back in here to find the other dimension. We're putting it into the area formula. We don't know that x is half of y up here. If we, I don't want to spend, like I said, too much time on this example. X times 250 minus, thanks Cameron, this is for you. Is it 1.5x, guys? Please come grab this. I don't, if you want to, sir, can. We're looking for the max. It didn't look like it was coming down in this window. Spending too much time on this. The maximum is at 83.3. Everybody getting that? And then to find the y value, whoops, sorry, I closed it. To find the y value, you got to plug the 83.3 back in here. So if we take 80, oops, on the home screen, sorry. It'll be 250 minus 1.5 times 83.333. And that comes out about 125. So the dimensions should be 125 by 83. Where's my slide? Not on the quiz. The one on the quiz is like 11 or 12. How did I get which one? The X or the Y? I graphed it, and the maximum was at 83.3 comma something. I took that X value at the maximum, and I plugged it back in here to find the Y value. It asks what the dimensions are, and we used X and Y for the dimensions. This is an expression for the area, and we wanted the maximum area. So I graphed it and found the maximum. I could have also done negative b over 2a. I don't know what your question is, Martin. What else, guys? On the review, how would you do this one? So you were sure you were going to be able to graph this and get 5 nice points. I'm worried that you're not going to remember how to put your calculator back that'll do this for you. I would use my calculator on every question that I could. Okay, this particular one says 1/2. what is it? X minus 4 squared. Plus 1, thank you. And a standard piece of graph paper would look like this. Where's the vertex? It's going to ask you that. You should be able to pull that out of that without doing any work. 4, 1. Okay, over 4, up 1. I think that's 4. That graph paper is very blurry for me. But then, how could we look at a table to find some more values? Right now, I think my table is turned off. If I go here, there's not values. Remember how to fix that so that it generates values? Second window. Guys, I really think you should be doing this. Second window and make it go auto. And you can leave it for tomorrow. There's no reason really to have it in ask auto, okay? Just leave it in auto. So then if I look at the table, now I can find a bunch more points to graph accurately. Okay, it says 0, 9, 6, 3, 4, 1. And anytime I put one of those to the left or right, there should be one on the opposite side as well, right? There's a line of symmetry is what I'm trying to say. I did not say that well. Questions? Everybody's good that they can use their calculator tomorrow on the quiz for graphing? Where's the vertex, guys? How do we find the vertex besides using the calculator? X equals opposite of B over 2A. So the opposite of B here would be 24 over 2 times 6. 24 over 12 is 2. And how do we find the y coordinate of the vertex? We plug it back in. Negative 19 maybe? Anybody already do the review? Is that right? Okay. Help me write this in vertex form then. How do you write that in vertex form? Y equals, this is on the quiz, x minus 2 squared and a minus 19. Is that it? It's not, Haley. There's a stretch. What is the stretch? Yep, we can't forget this 6 still goes out here. Remember, vertex form is a x minus h squared plus k. So we don't forget the stretch. And it's just whatever a was here. So that's not what this one, it just asks us to find the vertex, but I was practicing finding vertex form as well. Which is the same thing they want you to do on this one. Okay. What about writing an equation? This one makes me very nervous. How do we start? Do you remember? We start with vertex form, and what do? Put in the vertex, which was 5, 2. And then how do we find A? This is not going to go well for you if you don't remember how to do this, guys. How do you find A? We put those in for X and Y, but you have to be really careful because what students tend to do, that says -1 minus 5 quantity squared. Remember, people want to type all this in back here, and you can't do that. If you need to put a little box here, all of this is multiplied by A. So you have -1 minus 5 is -6 squared would be positive 36. Everybody get where that came from? That's supposed to say -1 minus 5. All right, so then you would subtract 2, get -6, and the answer is not 6. Don't make silly little mistakes because you were too lazy to show your work. You have to divide, and this reduces to -1/6. So then final answer is y equals -1/6 x minus 5 quantity squared plus 2. This form with the a substituted in. Yes. You want me to do the one above this one? Okay. Can you do -b over 2a to find the vertex? Did you already do that? And then plug it back in. I have +7, but maybe I did something wrong. X equals opposite of b over 2a, which would be -8 over -4 or 2. And if we put a 2 in, so this is 4 times -2 is -8. Plus 16 minus 1 is 8 minus 1 is 7. So yeah, then it's the stretch was -2 and the vertex was at +2, 7. So if we plug all that in. All right. What else can I do on the review for somebody? Or someone have a homework question? Haley, did you have other questions? The word problem here, this big nasty looking thing. Okay, guys, there's a little more information on the quiz than this. When you employ 8 salespeople, they average 40 sales per store visited. As the number of salespeople increases, this is number of salespeople, number of sales per store, and then the total number of sales. I would have that chart already on there for you, okay? But it also says equation used, and then at the bottom it says total number of salespeople you should employ, and I put that to remind you about something at the end, okay? Now, if we go up here, it says 8 salespeople. They average 40 sales per store, which would be 320. As the number of people increases by 2 people, so this would go to 10, or 8 plus what, guys? It's going up by 2's, so it would be 8 plus 2x, where x is the number of increases. What's happening? The sales per store drops by, so this would go down to 36, or the expression would be
40 minus 4x.
Good job. Okay, so this went up to 360 if we did 10 and 36, but it might keep going, so I have to find the max. All right, so I go to my calculator. Wait a minute, let's think about a window. This is the number of increases. How many times, I'm going to look at this one for an idea about my window. How many times can I take 4 away from 40 before I run out of sales? Okay, so that's just helping me find a window. If you don't get that, it's fine. You'll figure the window out by trial and error. But what about Y? I know it's above what? 320 or 360 or something here, right? Yeah, I might even go 500. Okay. So someone's going to tell me that equation again. I totally forgot. 8 plus 2x? 40 minus 4x? Oh, the Alzheimer's isn't as serious as I thought. Okay. We have 0 to 10 and 0 or negative 10 to, what did I say, maybe 4 or 500? Okay. And then we got to find the max in that window. It's between 0 and 10 somewhere, because I'm lazy. Now, this is just garbage. It just means the max is at 3. The 392 is actually the total number of sales, but I found the max. The max occurs when X equals, what did I get?
30 point something.
No. Well, yeah, it's just 3, right? The max is 3. Is that what I put on here? The total number of salespeople I should have is 3? No, I got to plug it. It wants number of salespeople, so I got to put my 3 back in here. So I got to increase it by 2 3 times, which would make 14 salespeople. If I put a 3 back in here, this would be 20 minus 12 or 28 maybe. And then that would give me the 392. But all it wants me to do is plug it back in and find the total number of salespeople. Okay? There were 2 of those on worksheet 9B. Do them and check them. Because right hand to God, guys, this is on there. It's not like I'm fooling you, okay? Not trying to trick you. Got to know how to do this. What else? Yes. Yes, average rate of change. Okay, do you remember me saying this is not really that hard? If you remember, average rate of change is really slope. So it's asking you to put in a 4 and see what you get out. Put in a 2 and see what you get out. And then do the slope. It has nothing to do with averaging anything, okay? So if I put you know what? I'm going to be lazy. Can we be lazy? So we get this right. If you go to y equals, okay, what's happening? Hello. Why is it not letting me do anything? Okay, we'll shut that down maybe. Try again. Great. I love when I have to do a Control-Alt-Delete in the middle of a video. To end something. All right, 3x squared minus 6x plus 7, is that correct? 3x squared minus 6x plus 7, is that what I just said? All right, if you put it in here, you don't need a bunch of parentheses, and then you can just go to the table as long as you have it on auto, and find the values it asks you to put in. I was trying to be lazy, and it turned out to take twice as much time. Okay, so 2 was 7 and 4 was 31. Do you see what I did there, guys? By just typing it in and using the table? Okay, got those right, no problem. Then find the slope is change in y over change in x. Don't do it upside down. We good? If I write that big enough, will it help you remember? Probably not, but what else? Thank you for asking. That was a good question. Is this a function, guys? We just graphed it. It was a parabola, right? So you could say yes because its graph passes the vertical line test. Or none of the x's are repeated. Not a function would be something like this. What else? Ooh, can we practice this one? No one's gonna. Why don't you guys do this one? And tell me what you get, because I'm really worried that people can watch me do it right till they're blue in the face, but can you get it right on your own? Martin, can you do this one on the review? It says be sure to, it's the f of a minus 4. It's on the back of the review. It's like the middle of the page. This is kind of a cruel question because there's so much room to make a little mistake, right? I didn't combine anything until the end, which was probably not a good plan, but I don't know. Yeah, that's what I have on my answer key too. Anybody having trouble figuring out where they went wrong? Haley, did you get it right? Aislinn, any questions on anything? Jack, any questions on anything? What? Good job. Domain and range. What's the domain and range of this one, guys? Domain is negative infinity to it. Oh, okay, that's not, this is the one above. Okay, domain of this one is negative infinity to infinity, and the range is, yes, 0 to infinity. There is one, I might be anyway, on the quiz where you have to type it in. So could we do the domain and range of this question? 3x squared minus 6x plus 7? Ooh, I already typed it in, remember? We are supposed to do the domain and range of this question. So I'm excited because I already typed it in. So I'm just going to do a Zoom 6 and see how that works out. Okay. What? We typed it in for another problem because we used the table to find the values for the average rate of change. Okay. Well, I want to find domain and range for this one because it says find domain and range for the above problem. That's this one. Okay. So I'm going to want to calculate the minimum, right? Enter. Okay, enter. Enter. I got, ooh, should I write down 0.99999? It's 1. 1, 4. Yeah, you're right. I really don't need the 1. But, oh my goodness. Where did everything go? Where was I? Here, but not here. Here. Okay. So the one up above, the 3x squared minus 6x plus 7, guys, we graphed it, and this was at, was it 1, 7? 1, 4. Okay, so domain, there's no radicals and no denominator, so it's always all real numbers. Okay, the range, though, we had to graph it, and which value do we care about from the minimum? It's a y value, so it went as low as 4 to infinity. And you should get that exact because you should know how to find that minimum. just a quick review, because this is on the quiz somewhere. There's a picture of a graph and it says find f of 0. Where is f of 0 on this graph right here? I always get students who tell me it's at -3 and +1. This is the x equals 0, which means it's on the y-axis. So when x equals 0, I don't even know. Do you want to say that's 3 or 3.5? Okay. On those ones where you just have to guess from the graph, there's room for interpretation, okay? For sure. But don't forget a negative. I don't, that always happens, like someone, the graph will look like this, and I'll say, what is f of 3? And they'll tell me it's 2, but it's really -2, right? Don't forget the negative. I don't know why that happens, but people do. This was new yesterday, so can we talk about this one real fast? Is this continuous at 2, 0, 3.5, -2? Any of those? What is the rule, guys? Yeah, if you factor the denominator, it's not continuous at 2 because it would make the denominator 0. Is it okay at 0? If I go back and put a 0 in here, I'd have -7 over -4, so yes. Is it okay at 3.5? If I put a 3.5 in, I actually get what? 0 over what? Okay. So is it okay to have a 0 on the top? Yes. It's continuous there. Is it -2 going to work? No, because it makes the denominator 0. What did I miss that I can go back and help with, or a homework question? The next one? Oh, seriously. How could I forget to talk about this? Okay, even, odd, or neither. What does even mean? What kind of symmetry? Y-axis symmetry. Which means it would look like the one we just talked about that was a W, maybe, if it was symmetric, right? Or something like that. It's got to be symmetric with the y-axis, not somewhere else, okay? A parabola that's over here has a line of symmetry, but it's not around the y-axis. This would be neither. Okay? Odd. What's an odd function look like? Yes, it has origin symmetry, it's called. Okay? Origin symmetry. And it might look like this. Okay, can rotate it 190 about the center. 180. Did I say 190? Oh, I'm making up new rules now. Okay. So we probably should graph these, huh? -3x² plus 5. I can tell you right now because it has an even exponent actually on both, because the constant has an exponent of 0, so it should be even, but that comes from a million years of teaching, approximately. Is that looking even? Y-axis symmetry? Okay. The second one, I'm going to guess even again, just because I'm foiling it out in my head. What was it, guys? Okay. X minus 3, x plus 3, and then an x squared. It's W, so still even. And x cubed minus x. Looks like this. Okay. You could zoom in a little bit if you weren't convinced. Okay. We could even talk about the tests. Does anybody remember the tests for odd? It's you replace both x and y with their opposites. So you'd have negative 1y equals negative 1x cubed minus negative 1x. This would be negative y. A negative 1 to the third would be negative. Negative times a negative back here would be positive. But then if I divided everything by negative 1, I would get back to y equals positive x cubed minus x, which is what we started with. On that section, guys, one of them is an equation that you should graph and check out. And the other one, I just give you the graph. I say, look at this picture and tell me domain range, even or odd, okay? So one of them you don't have to graph, you can just look at the picture. Questions elsewhere? What did I skip? If you're putting a negative in, what do you got to remember? Parentheses, or she didn't do it like I did, right? I just put it in the calculator and looked at the table. When does this hit the ground? Should be doing something like this, and you need to find the 0, right? You just got to find an appropriate window. Did I do all the rest of them? Man, I swore I wasn't going to do them all. Negative 16x squared. Oh, I hate when I forget to clear. Then how did it go? Plus 75x. Plus 12. Okay, can't have negative. I don't know. I'm thinking it's going to come down fairly quickly. Might go up kind of high, though. Just picking random numbers now. There we go. Now, the question on the quiz might not ask about when it hits the ground. It could possibly ask, like, when does it reach its maximum? It could ask how far away is it when it hits the ground, which would be find the 0 and find the x value. Okay. We wanted the time till it hits, so that was the 0 between there and out here somewhere. So I'd put 4.84. This is this a constant for feet per minute? Or anyway, hopefully it has a label on the quiz. Seconds? I think it's seconds. Feet per second. Yeah, this is the gravity constant for feet per second. So the answer would have been 4.84 seconds. Or 4.84, I think it says 3 places. 4.842? Anyone else? What about homework? Homework checks done? Any questions on worksheet 7A? More questions on 9B? I hope you're all turning something in for the homework check, yes?